welcome. I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Words of Radiance. And today is probably a second, third, or fourth installment on helping you discover your beliefs and how you can see them and really try to look inside your own mind at your own habits and where your beliefs may be hidden. And so this is kind of a fun one because I'm going to talk about Lance Armstrong. And Lance Armstrong, I'm just going to review his history. We see a man who is in love with riding bicycles and hardcore racing. And he gets testicular cancer. And we say, it's probably from riding a bicycle and his nuts are bouncing on the seat and lo and behold, a lot of damage. And he's got testicular cancer. And he goes through that. And we see pictures of him bald and going through chemo, and he beats cancer and he comes back, and now he wins the Tour de France 7 times. And during the whole Tour de France, I remember watching him every year just thinking, wow, he would blow past people. And the one thing they kept talking about was how hard he trained all the time. He did it harder than any other person on that field. And you'd watch it and say, he must have, because here he went up those hills and passed people and they could not keep up. And so he wins Tour de France 7 times. And then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 years after that, when he retires, it comes out that he was blood doping or whatever, or steroids and all the stuff. And then he comes clean and says yes, but then says, everybody does it. He's like, how can you compete in that field if you're not doing it? And so then we're like, oh, okay, so he was doing it. Yes, he still trained harder than everybody, but everybody else were just trying to get by on steroids and stuff and not train nearly as hard as he was. And so I look into that whole situation. I think here you have an individual that is, we think about somebody training that hard. That's probably kind of like an ICD-10 code for that, that there's probably some mental health issues there of some sort. But we could look back and say, what is the belief of an individual that would want to train that bad, that would want to be the best in the world? Could we say that there's probably some issues with somebody maybe along the lines, if we could go back into his past, that probably told him he was never going to amount to anything? There may be a thought in there that he could look upon and say, you know what, I can totally remember when somebody did that. And that he would go to such lengths to, now we look at, testicular cancer. If he's doing steroids, guess what's an outcome of steroids? One of the byproducts is testicular cancer. Could be a possibility. So now we're like, well, was it even the bicycle seat? It's probably that. And so here we have somebody who would knowingly endanger their own health to be called the best at riding a bicycle. That's really wild. There are a lot of beliefs all wrapped up in here. They did a study on Olympic athletes, and I think they asked 100 or 1,000 Olympic athletes, if you could take a drug and no one would be able to trace it, wouldn't be detected ever. They could never detect it. And you would win every race you entered for the next 5 years. But after that, within a year, you would die. Would you take it? Over 80% said they would take it. I'm like, if that's not a belief system that you are not good enough, I don't know what is. And so we have to question everything like that. To, some people just have a love. I remember I loved playing volleyball. I would play volleyball all the time. It didn't matter. I just loved it. I didn't matter winning. I just loved hitting that ball, setting that ball, serving that ball, jump serving, spiking, all of it. I loved every aspect of it. I just loved it. It caused me more pain not to play than to play when I was injured. I played right through a shoulder injury. It killed me to hit the ball. I still kept playing. Instead of having my shoulder heal in 9 months, it took 2.5 years. There's probably some insanity there, but I so enjoyed it. And I probably got accolades from the people that I played with because ultimately I bet I had some deep-seated beliefs in there that I was not good enough. that I need to get attention from other people and excel at something. And even though I loved it, it was a joy. And so all these things, I explain this so that you can start digging into your own head and start realizing where some of these beliefs might be hidden and lying about. Some of you might be journaling. Some of you might be going through spiritual things and trying to work into it. I love asking my head questions whenever I do something that I'm like, why did I just do that? And I'll sit there and meditate and pray and ask for guidance until all of a sudden it comes. Oh my gosh, there's the belief. And so I'll start hunting for where that belief got interjected into my thinking and get it out into the open and ask the hard question, is this belief still good for me? And of course I say, no way. And then I get to interject a better belief, one that's more approximating of who I really am or what I really am. I am light. I am truth. I am joy. I am peace. I am love. I am my Father's son forever and ever and ever. Those are things that are more approximating to the truth. And so as you go through your days, maybe you're kind of a Lance Armstrong kind of person. Maybe it's totally diametrically opposed, but maybe something hits you in there. You'll see beliefs come out in every way all throughout the day if you'll just watch what you do. Things you say to people, you'd be like, why did I say that to them? That was rude. Okay, there's some things there that you need to look at. And we'll look in that and other issues of words of radiance as we get through this, because we're going to look at beliefs, and time again. They are as varied as there are people. They'll often come back to that whole value or worth issue, but they'll be hidden in ways that really are better if we can see them plainly as what they were as they hit us, so to speak. So we're going to continue this process to help as we unpack our own mind to get greater levels of peace, greater levels of love in our life, greater levels of ease in our life. I don't know about you, but I want more ease and more peace and more love and more joy. I'll take that all day long. And if you're on that ride with me, stick around. We're going to do more. So until next time, I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Words of Radiance.